All right, we are live on YouTube. Let's get right into it, guys. I'm not going to waste too much time. First draft of the day. Fast Puppy. It's filling up quickly. This launched not too long ago. It's a $5 entry. Like I said before, if you're new to Underdog, if you're new to best ball, it is the best way to practice for your home redraft league. $5 entry. Can't beat it. There's 20-second clock per pick, and it's just great practice for your home league, and it's fun. So, can't beat it. Truly can't. I've been drafting on Underdog this year since they allowed it in my state. Before, I was only able to do DraftKings, which DraftKings was all right. I can't complain because last year on DraftKings, I won over $5,000 drafting teams just like these. And you can do it too. It doesn't take much. Like I said, these drafts are $5 entries. I'm sure you guys in your home leagues are paying a lot more than that for your buy-ins if you guys wager, which I'm sure most of you watching this do. So, not too many home leagues I hear of that people are just doing it for fun. It is fun to beat your buddy, but when you can take his money too, that's just the icing on top. So right here, we're at pick 7. Can't complain about pick 7. It guarantees us either Bijan or Brees Hall. And then if one of these elite wide receivers fall to us, even better. Pretty standard so far. Pretty standard start. I wonder if Justin Jefferson is going to get shot up these draft boards now that Jordan Addison's future is looking a little murky. So Bijan goes at pick 6, and I mean, we're taking Amon-Ra St. Brown. I actually have Amon-Ra ranked over Bijan and Justin Jefferson. If Justin Jefferson had any of these quarterbacks that these other guys have right here in this top 6, 7, I arguably would almost have him as the first receiver off the board. I believe he is an elite talent. He is the best wide receiver in the league, and the only reason he is going at pick 5 is because of his quarterback situation. He has Sam Darnold and J.J. McCarthy. So a rookie and a guy who hasn't done anything in his whole career, which how likely it is for him to take a step up this year, he's probably just still going to be bad. So if he had a better quarterback, I would arguably have him as a first receiver off the board. And here we see at pick 12, Jonathan Taylor, Anthony Richardson. I have not seen Anthony Richardson go at the 1-2 turn in the 70-plus drafts I've done. That is a crazy reach. I understand you want to get a little unique at that 12 spot, but that is a little wild. The fact that you can get him at pick 37, taking him there, that guy could have waited a couple rounds and still got him. I mean, I guess go get your guy, but at that point, that's a little bit of a reach for me. So falling to us here is Drake London. I'm not crazy about Drake London, but he is drafted usually at pick 14, 15. So to get him at pick 18, we'll take it. Maybe it will give us a unique combo with Amon-Ra, Drake London. I don't know how many of those teams are going to be out there. So could possibly give us a unique start. I love going 2 wide receivers out the gate. Because in these drafts, my strategy usually is to get 3 receivers through the first 5 rounds. If I can do that, I feel pretty good about my team. If I have 2 receivers through the first 7, I almost feel like my team is dead. Just because in these underdog drafts, players just go off the board so early. Receivers go off the board so early that it's tough. If you don't grab a couple in these first few rounds, you're just like fighting an uphill battle. So starting with Amon-Ra, Drake London feels great. Hopefully that's a unique start. Probably not. I will be interested to see. I was going to say, how far is Brandon Ayuk falling? But he has still got picked at 16 before Drake London. So there you go. Malik Neighbors is somebody that I am sort of fading this year. I will still pick him in certain spots, but I'm not crazy about that Giants offense, and he is definitely not. I definitely don't want an early pick to be invested in a Giants offense, which is projected to be a bottom 5 offense. So definitely do not want a piece of that offense. Right here, I'm looking at DK Metcalf, and he does fall. I do like Stephon Diggs a lot in this range, Cooper Kupp too. But I think DK Metcalf provides a unique ceiling that a lot of wide receivers don't have. I mean, he is an absolute freak athlete. Yeah, he hasn't had the greatest seasons. Yeah, his best finish in fantasy was like a top 15, I think. But if there was ever a year for him to just find his stride, I feel like it would be this year. Tyler Lockett's getting a little older. Jackson Smith-Njigba's coming into his second year. Hopefully, he will take some pressure off DK, give DK some more one-on-one opportunities, and if he gets the targets, I do think he will return value here in the 3rd round. Obviously, you're not going to draft DK this early in your home league, but here we are at Underdog, and this team goes Anthony Richardson, Zay Flower, Josh Allen. I mean, this guy is an absolute maniac here at the 112. He is an absolute maniac. I almost wonder if that Anthony Richardson pick was a misclick. I mean, that is such a weird play that I've not seen. And then for him to just still take Josh Allen, I understand going bully QB, but I mean, this is just putting yourself at a disadvantage. Personally, I like T. Higgins over Amari Cooper. I think Amari Cooper could have some spike weeks, but T. Higgins has confirmed he's playing for the Bengals this year. So I'm going to take him. Last year he was going in the 2nd round. So he got hurt. Joe Burrow was hurt. That offense was just in shambles, and I think this year is a big bounce back for them. As long as Joe Burrow is healthy, the Bengals offense is going to be a top 10 offense. That is what I think, and I will stand by it. If Joe Burrow is healthy, Bengals are top 10 offense. No question. I would have taken Travis Kelce or Sam Laporta if they fell there. Not crazy about George Pickens, but I think this year Pittsburgh will actually be an average offense. So he's young. He has some talent. I think he's still a solid pick, but I like T. Higgins a little more. I don't know, maybe I'm a little biased because he was on my team when I won my home league. So maybe I'm a little biased. I don't know. But nothing too crazy happening in this draft besides that team at 12 taking 2 QBs in the first 4 rounds. What a madman. That makes me wonder if he's going to go really crazy, if we might need to be smart and watch kind of what he's doing, because a guy like that in your room can really throw a wrench in your plans if he's doing some crazy stuff. Thankfully, we're not right next to him, so we don't have to worry about it too much. But team at 2 starts CD, Kyron, Debo, and they got the Lamar Andrews stack. I actually started a team yesterday. I got Tyreek, Mike Evans, Devontae Smith, Lamar Andrews. That was my start. Actually, I'm wrong. It was not Mike Evans. It was Tyreek, Devontae Adams, and Devontae Smith, followed by the Lamar Andrews stack. I was really happy about that team. Ended up bringing it home. It was pretty decent. I think here we can take Trey McBride. I don't have a ton of McBride, but if he's going to fall almost 10 picks past ADP, I think we take it. And that's just it. Like, I don't have a ton of McBride, but if in this situation, like, I'll take him. I like getting that tight end. I think those 5 guys, Kelsey, Laporta, Kincaid, Andrews, McBride, are in that tier 1 of tight ends. And then after that, you could argue Kyle Pitts, but on the stream yesterday, we did take Kyle Pitts. Today, we're taking Trey McBride. Both of those guys, I am very underweight on. I am most likely overweight on Sam Laporta, Kelsey, Andrews, Kincaid. But those are the guys I think that are going to finish, have a good chance to all finish. You know, one of them's going to get tight end 1. I'd be surprised if someone else besides any of these first 5 guys get a tight end 1 finish. You know, Kyle Pitts could. He's never played with a quarterback as good as he's going to this year. The offense is going to be way better. So, you know, I wouldn't be, like, super surprised, but we'll see. I mean, we did take Drake London. I don't think he is really in this round 2 tier, personally. I think everybody's kind of just betting on this offense to be better, Kirk Cousins to feed him. I know he had a big target share his first 2 years playing. So, you never know. I want to take Xavier Worthy here if he falls. We'll see, though. Xavier Worthy does fall, and I am extremely happy. So this is honestly the ideal start. I would have liked to have a quarterback, but right now getting 5 receivers through the first 6 rounds is beautiful. In Underdog best ball drafts, receivers are the lifeblood of your team. They are the heartbeat. You have to start 3 every week regardless. So getting a solid 5 out the gate just, wow, feels great. Usually I am tempted to take a running back or a quarterback, which is fine if it makes sense. But in our spot, these were the guys I thought were the best value. So that's what we went with. It's interesting to see how far Jordan Addison has been dropping in these drafts. It's very interesting. So the team at 4 and 11 have a similar start to me. Me and 11 have done the same thing. I got that elite tight end, all receivers. Team at 4 got all receivers in that Pacheco. I do like Pacheco this year. I think he's going to be solid. I think he's in a similar range as Josh Jacobs. So personally, I'd be taking Jacobs at the later pick. And seeing them go both before Travis Etienne is pretty wild. I think Etienne is going to finish better than Pacheco and Jacobs, but very interesting to see Etienne fall that far. So coming up on this next pick here, I'll take Christian Watkins if he's there, but I think this is a chance right here where we can take Kyler Murray since we do have Trey McBride. We can get the stack there, get ourselves a quarterback, and then look to draft one of these running backs on the way back around. We have a ton of receivers. We don't need receivers anymore, at least not right to the end rounds. So, yeah, I think we take Kyler Murray here. Gives us a nice little stack with Trey McBride. I do not have a lot of Kyler Murray because I don't draft a lot of Marvin Harrison and I don't draft a lot of Trey McBride. Not to say that I'm just completely fading them. It's just the way that my drafts end up lining up where I just don't even have the opportunity. And when I pick at a spot like 11 or 12, I try to get more unique because Marvin Harrison is going at that spot in every draft. Same with Drake London. I don't have a ton of Drake London because I try to get unique at that spot and not take those guys. So now we get a chance to even out some exposures. Got a little Drake London in there. Got a Trey McBride and a Kyler Murray. We do not have a lot of those guys, so it's nice to mix them in. I do think those guys have potential to have great seasons, no doubt. So coming around here, we could go James Conner. Get a little correlation with Arizona. We already are betting on that offense at this point. Or we could take more of an upside play for later in the year with Jonathan Brooks. We'll just see who makes it to us. I like Jonathan Brooks. I like James Conner. If we don't get either of them, I will take Jaylen Warren. And Jaylen Warren falls, so we're going to take him. First running back, Jaylen Warren is not the greatest, but hey, you got to start somewhere. I would have liked James Conner with this team just because we have a little bit of an Arizona thing going on. So I would have liked to see a little James Conner in there, but it is what it is. If you're watching on YouTube, don't be afraid to give a little like, comment on what you think of my team so far. Let me know your opinions on who you think the best value in these underdog drafts is so far that you've seen in your experiences. I've drafted about a little over 70 teams so far. This is my most drafted. This is the most drafts I've ever done in a single season. I just really started getting into the best ball drafts 2 years ago. Not so much 2 years ago, but last year, heavily into them. And then this season, after I saw my return on investment was crazy, I've just been, let's say, donating my winnings back into the pot for all you guys here at Underdog. So I brought some of DraftKings money over, and now it's in the Underdog pot. So you guys can have your fun with that. I've drafted a ton of bad teams, so I'm sure I've already donated a decent amount. So coming back around here, I'm going to be looking at either Tony Pollard or Brock Bowers. Tony Pollard's gone. I'll take Brock Bowers, or I will take Trey Benson. I don't know how I feel about Tajay Spears this year. Titans are not going to be that great of an offense. He's going to be behind Pollard. Yeah, I think he'll still get some work, but Devin Singletary, he plays for the Giants. I don't really care for any Giants. So we're going to get Brock Bowers, another tight end falling. I mean, that's how we got Trey McBride, and it's how we're going to get Brock Bowers. There's a tight end just falling in our lap, and after seeing Sam Laporta's rookie year, I will take my chances on a rookie tight end. He was an absolute league winner last year, a smash hit. And I did draft a fair share of him, which is why I ended up winning some money. If I would have drafted Puka or Kyron, I would have won a ton of money. But we got some Laporta value last year. Our most drafted player was Nico Collins. I thought he was an absolute steal at his ADP. I just didn't see a lot of competition there in Houston, and he was a huge hit. Nico Collins was a huge hit for me. I had a ton of Laporta too which was a great pick. I had a ton of Ayuk, who was a fantastic pick. So, yeah, that's why we ended up winning some money, I believe, was we had Nico Collins in a ton of teams. I couldn't see how I could pass him up every time he fell to me. Sometimes I even reached on him where it was just I just knew he was going to do better. It's hard to say I knew, but I was just really saw the opportunity there. Looks like we might get a little Trey Benson falling back to us, which I will take. We already have some Arizona's Cardinals, so let's just keep it going. Trey Benson, welcome to the team. We need some running backs, so he will work. Not too bad, not too bad. I got to say, I like this team. I love our wide receivers. I think we got some solid wide receivers. We have an elite tight end. We already got 2 tight ends, so we're basically done drafting tight ends at this point. My opinion, if you take 2 tight ends before the 11th round, you don't need to draft anymore. That's just me personally. Maybe you guys have a different opinion. Same with quarterback. If I can get 2 quarterbacks within the first 11 rounds, I'm not drafting a third. I know the team that won Best Ball Mania last year, I believe, had a 3-6-6-3 team. Not to say that's the blueprint for winning Best Ball Mania, but every year it's a little different. So, not bad at all. Let's see who's going to fall to us here. I could reach on Jared Goff. Do I think Jared Goff falls back to us? 11 picks past ADP? No. Do I think I'll be able to get running back picks later? Yes. Jared Goff's ADP is 127. That's right where we're picking at. But there is a couple of running backs up there that I do like. I think Gus Edwards could be a good play. I did like Chase Brown, so that makes me feel better that Chase Brown got picked. So now I don't feel as bad taking Jared Goff here. We have a Amon-Ra St. Brown, so we got a little stack there. We have a Kyler Murray, Trey McBride, Trey Benson stack. And then we have a Jared Goff, Amon-Ra St. Brown stack. I guess we could have waited to see if we could get Kirk Cousins later. Could have been an option. But I have a lot invested on Amon-Ra. He was my first round pick. Let's get his QB. We're banking on the Detroit Lions offense. They are projected to be the second highest scoring, only behind the 49ers. So I think taking the Lions QB is not a terrible pick at all. Yes, we do need running backs, and we can still get running backs right now. So I'm not too worried about our next pick here, getting a running back. I might take Nick Chubb if he falls to us. A lot of people are fading Nick Chubb, which I get it. But man, in a tournament style where you're optimizing for weeks 15, 16, 17, like how do you not just shoot for a guy like Nick Chubb, who's proven he's a top 5 running back when healthy? I mean, it's almost a no-brainer pick to me. He's not going to give you any points at the beginning of the year, which it is what it is. If I can somehow sneak him through my team into the playoffs, I will feel really happy about that. And he goes, which, fair enough, I would have taken him there too. But if Zach Charbonnet falls, we will take him. We already have DK Metcalf, so that gives us a little bit of correlation, I guess, with the Seahawks offense. We are, in a way, kind of betting on that offense, so there we go. Another piece of it in Zach Charbonnet, which, If Kenneth Walker ends up missing some time, I think Zach Charbonnet would be a fine pick. All right. Let's see what this team at 12 has ended up doing. I haven't even really been paying attention. Very interesting. Takes those guys early and then just shooting darts with these wide receivers here late. And I don't know if you guys have noticed, as we've been drafting the wide receivers we've had to pick from in these later rounds, like that's why I like taking receivers early, because I feel like the running backs in this range are going to do just as good and if not better. So that's why I always like waiting on my running backs, getting those nice receivers early. I always just feel a lot better about my team, and I feel like it gives me so much flexibility to take people like Brock Bowers and Kyler Murray, Trey McBride. Like, I'm able to shoot for those elite tight ends. Not that Brock Bowers is an elite tight end, but we're able to shore up our tight end room with two guys. And when you're able to take two tight ends and call it a day, it just gives you so much more room for opportunity. I do believe our QB room is done as well. I think taking Jared Goff and Kyler Murray is pretty solid. Looks like Kirk Cousins is going to end up falling to us, which I guess we could have not taken Jared Goff and taken Kirk Cousins, but let's think. Would we have rather had Kirk Cousins, Chase Brown, or Zach Charbonnet and Jared Goff? It's close. It's very close. I'm going to take Darnell Mooney. We already have Drake London. Let's take another piece of that offense. I like Darnell Mooney this year. I think he's going to get a lot of opportunities. I don't see a third wide receiver on their team coming in and doing anything crazy. So I think Darnell Mooney is going to have a nice little season this year. If Jared Goff falls back to us at 162, it'd be hard to pass on him. Or, I mean, not Jared Goff. If Kirk Cousins falls back to us at pick 162, which he does not. So this team did maybe what I should have done and went Nick Chubb, Kirk Cousins. So they went Sticky Ricky, Nick Chubb, Kirk Cousins. We went Jared Goff, Zach Charbonnet, Darnell Mooney. Which one am I crazier about? I think his trio is better if Ayuk gets traded. I do think his trio is better if Ayuk gets traded. So I may have dropped the ball a little bit here, but it's all right. We'll pick it back up. We're going to take a running back here. Do we take Algier? Do we get a third piece of that Atlanta offense in Algier? I don't know. If he falls, it'd be hard not to take him. I will take Chuba Hubbard if he doesn't make it. He does not make it. So either Jalen Wright or Chuba Hubbard. Who's going to fall? Who's going to fall to us? Jalen Wright falls, we take Jalen Wright. Didn't have to think too much about that one. We need running backs. This is a team where we might end up going 8 running backs. The next 4 rounds, we might just rattle off some RBs because we do not have a very good room of RBs right now. For our running backs, we have Jalen Warren, Trey Benson, Zach Charbonnet, Jalen Wright. Our RBs are lacking. But then you take a look at our receivers. Amon-Ra, Drake London, DK, Higgins, Worthy, Mooney, and then our tight ends. We got Trey McBride, Brock Bowers. Our QBs, we got Kyler Jared. Not bad. If one of these next 4 running backs we pick end up returning some value, this team could have a chance to do something. I believe. I do believe. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Am I going to draft another team? I'm probably going to call it after this one. I've already drafted a few teams this morning. I just went to the gym, ate some dinner, getting this draft in for you guys, and then I'm probably going to do some more work tonight and maybe another draft while I'm watching some Netflix later. It's hard not to. This fast puppy is so tempting. It's just quick picks, $5 entry. Man, it is hard not to like the fast puppy here on Underdog. All right. Which running back is going to fall to us? Okay, so do we take a known running back in Antonio Gibson, or do we take a rookie in Ray Davis? I think, in a way, we know who Antonio Gibson is. He is in a horrible offense as well. And then we got an unknown rookie who is in a top 5 offense. Might seem like a tough choice, but not to me. We are going to shoot our dart at Ray Davis. He might get some goal line carries, you know. I don't see James Cook getting a ton of goal line carries, so someone's got to get them, unless Josh Allen snipes all of them, which very well could. Yeah, I think we're done at 6 receivers here. As long as the bye weeks aren't stacking too much. No. We have 3 week 12 buys, but we'll be fine. I don't look at bye weeks a whole lot, but if I get like 4 players with the same bye week, then I'm like, oh, maybe we need to take one more guy. But I think right here we just need to keep shooting darts at running backs because our running back room is a mess right now. It's just a bunch of misfits. If you want to look at it this way, it's a running back room of a bunch of backups. A bunch of backups praying that the starter gets hurt so somehow they can return value for us. That's basically what we're looking at right here. Coming back around to these running backs, the guy I'm looking at his name's Braylon Allen. Khalil Herbert, I'm not too crazy about him. I think there's just a ton of running backs there, and I could see Braylon Allen getting some work, and he obviously gets picked. I think we're going to reach a little bit here. Call me crazy. I think we're going to reach a little bit here. D'Onta Foreman. He's going to get some early work this season, and I think he could bring us some value early in the year, get us some points in that running back category, and then we have a bunch of these backups and rookies who later in the season, if they end up hopping into that role, getting some more work, weeks 15, 16, 17, I mean, we have a chance. We definitely have a chance. I think he's going to get some carries early in the year. I know it's going to be him and Jerome Ford. There's a couple other guys there too, but I'm not too worried about them. Naeem Hines and then Pierre Strong. I'm not too worried about them. They brought him in for a reason. If they liked those other guys, they wouldn't have brought him in. So he's going to get used. He had a couple good weeks last year for the Bears. He had a couple good games. I know a guy in my fantasy league ended up winning his week. That one game he started Foreman, and I think Foreman had like 3 touchdowns or something like that. Something crazy. Yeah, a guy in my league ended up winning his week because of that. which I don't know why he would ever start Foreman, but I guess he was that down bad at running back. He had to shoot one for the moon. Coming back around, I want to take Tank Bigsby. I think he's going to get some work this year. They're saying they don't want to run ETN too hard into the dirt. So I think I'm going to reach on Tank Bigsby. Kind of just taking my guys at this point. I just don't know which one of these guys out of this group is going to be the league winner. Probably none of them, but you never know. Taking Tank Bigsby. Here we go. 4 straight RBs. We just don't care. We don't care who's there anymore. Great start out the gate. Wow. Really like this team. I really like this team. Running backs could be the death of us, but we're in a receiver. We're in a receiver league right here. If our receivers return value, we will be just fine. Because we have an elite tight end in Trey McBride, who I do think is that in that elite tier. Kyler Murray, who provides some rushing upside, stacks with Trey McBride. Jared Goff, number 2 projected offense next year in points scored, to stack with Amon-Ra, our first-round pick. Then just some great filler guys. If they end up balling out, we'll be all right. I will take Clyde Edwards-Helaire if he falls back here. Either him or Dameon Pierce. I'm not crazy about Dameon Pierce. He had the chance last year to prove himself, and he just was horribly inefficient. I saw him get stuffed on the goal line so many times. But if he falls, we will take him. I think Houston also has a chance to be a top 10 offense, and if they're going to get some goal line carries, they got to go to somebody, which it's going to go to Joe Mixon, but Joe Mixon gets hurt. Pierce is going to be the guy. So let's mix him in. I don't have a ton of Dameon Pierce, if much at all. So there we go. There's our team. We go 8 running backs. Kyler Murray, Jared Goff are our QBs. Running backs are a group of misfits. Just 8 backups. just 8 bench players. But some of them still will get some work. Jalen Warren's going to get a lot of work. Zach Charbonnet is going to get a decent amount of work. And then I think Trey Benson will too. These other guys, it's kind of up in the air. I think Foreman at the beginning of the year will. But our wide receivers, can't complain about that group of guys right there. Cannot complain. And then our tight end room, solid. I'm very happy with this team. I appreciate everybody tuning in to this draft. I hope you guys all enjoy the rest of your night. And I will see you tomorrow for another draft.